Chai! Now wow, people wey suppose talk through to power don't off mic. And if we talk, now 500,000 they go summer us, call them hate speech. But fear not, Maiyegun don't come. Him go torchlight every corner, nooks and cranny of all these bad people where they spoil our country. So my people make we laugh, oh yo yo. Maiyegun don't come, oh yo yo. My people make we shout, oh yo yo. Maiyegun don't come, oh yo yo. Maiyegun don't come, man of the masses, oh yo yo. Maiyegun don't come, oh yo yo. Maiyegun diary Politico, oh yo yo. Maiyegun don't come, oh yo yo. This one not the off in mind, oh yo yo. Maiyegun don't come, oh yo yo. And in the touchlight every corner, oh yo yo. Maiyegun don't come, oh yo yo. Okay, some people be they holla say they want the power. Chai, them be promise us say we go get light and power. Nah. Them hustle sote they can't get the power. But now they know they do anything with the power. Sure. Every day, dollar just they get the higher power over naira. See them talk say make we off mind. But thank God say Maiyegun don't come. So my people make you laugh, oh yo yo. Maiyegun don't come, oh yo yo. My people make we shout, oh yo yo. Maiyegun don't come, oh yo yo. Maiyegun don't come, man of the masses, oh yo yo. Maiyegun don't come, oh yo yo. Maiyegun diary Politico, oh yo yo. Maiyegun don't come, oh yo yo. This one not the off in mind, oh yo yo. Maiyegun don't come, oh yo yo. Person where they do evil, no one make person talk. Them say that Maiyegun, that man too they talk. He too they talk. Say Maiyegun diary, he they hot like pepper. But every day then they take money in bulk. Woman picking, they the street they hawk. Still them talk say make we no talk. But thank God say Maiyegun don't come. So my people make you laugh, oh yo yo. Maiyegun don't come, oh yo yo. My people make you shout, oh yo yo. Maiyegun don't come, oh yo yo. Maiyegun don't come, man of the masses, oh yo yo. Maiyegun don't come, oh yo.
Hi there. You're welcome to Maiyegun's Diary Politico tonight, from wherever you are watching from. Thank you so much for joining me. And this is Maiyegun live. And if you have read the caption of this broadcast, you can make your own contribution accordingly as well. We'll be taking this tonight bit by bit. The rider for this broadcast tonight is about the rumored, the expected blockade of Sunday Igboho's Oloye Sunday Igboho's bank account from Monday. That is the intel. And the reason why we will hammer on it, right, is because you cannot trust anything said by the government of Nigeria or any politician in Nigeria. You cannot trust them word for word, okay? And as they are plotting and planning, so are other people also hearing and also, planning on how to deal with that. So that is why if you read it anywhere where people say, don't worry yourself, it is just a rumor. Why are they going to freeze his account? Then you will read it later that his accounts have been frozen. That's what they do. They did it to the NSAS protesters. You see, during the NSAS protest, right, there were young people, professionals who came together to support the protest by offering different services during the protest. It was meant to be peaceful protest. That same protest is what Nigerian government in their own documents as we speak is tagged as an insurrection, a planned protest to overthrow Buhari, and it is considered as a terrorist act. So what the CBN of Nigeria did then was they now freeze the accounts of those they identified as those who offered services, like those who offered food, drinks, those who offered the medical services. Everyone identified platforms used to raise funds. They all got all their business accounts frozen. Individuals had their own personal accounts frozen as well. No court order, no nothing. When it became news that CBN of Nigeria has frozen the account of NSAS protesters, volunteers, yeah, the CBN quickly approached the court. Okay, when they approached the court, they wanted court to give them order that the account they cancelled 2 weeks ago, before the news broke, right, that it was cancelled because they were investigating the account for acts of terrorism, that they used the account to fund terrorism. Do you get that now? So that's what they do. And because they have destroyed all the institutions in Nigeria, yeah, you cannot trust anything they say. If anything comes out as a rumor, don't take it as a rumor, okay? Because they are going to do it. And they are going to find a way around it to justify it too, okay? And as we speak, yeah, the federal government of Nigeria with their CBN, Emefiele, they considered everyone that organizes any kind of a civil disobedience in Nigeria, protest or support for protesters, so anywhere in Nigeria, you are considered as somebody sponsoring terrorism, even though that is not the definition of terrorism all over the world. But in Nigeria, if you stage a protest against the government of Nigeria, right, you are considered a terrorist. Now, if you receive support for that protest, that money will be considered for terrorism. Now, if you are an individual who decided to give a support, for example, within Nigeria, they can also say they are freezing your account in order to investigate it for terrorism, which is not terrorism. It is simply state-sponsored act of terrorism, economic terrorism against the people. So when you read news that says there is a plan to freeze Sunday Igboho's account, let me tell you something. There is a plan going on. Okay? But they will wait for how people will react to it, and you will read it in the news. So recently, or yesterday, Nigeria government or CBN declared that cryptocurrencies and all those coins and all that are not legal tender in Nigeria. And I received an email from one of you, my friends, Babati, if you are watching this video, I received your email. And from that email, you were trying to make me see the good part of that decision, which is great. This concern of unregulated cryptocurrency, which makes the money totally out of the control of the CBN. This concern was because without a regulator who understands how the cryptocurrency works, regulator is usually the country's central bank, okay, or any other regulatory body given that role to supervise that kind of a monetary monetary operation in Nigeria. So in this case, in 2017, yeah, the CBN raised the a memo by saying cryptocurrency are not acceptable as legal tender in Nigeria. It is not that they ban Nigerians from trading in cryptocurrency. This disadvantage of cryptocurrency, according to what Babati sent to me, which is also the concern of so many other people too. But you see, this concern I'm about to talk about, yeah, has been actually sort of debunked, because after 2017, the security around cryptocurrencies and other, other virtual currencies like that, which are different from the normal paper currency, right? So after 2017, there has been so many other security around this, that so many other bigger corporations around the world have invested in this, and that is fact. But here is the concern that in a country like Nigeria, battling with terrorism, right, it will be their own greatest undoing if they cannot control or know about every money that comes into the country or goes out of the country. Because the cryptocurrency, in a way, right, works in a way that it can be anonymous. When I say anonymous, it means that it doesn't have to go through Nigerian banks, okay? Even though if you are operating in Nigeria and you want your currency in Naira, yeah, you will need a Nigerian bank to do that. However, you don't really need that. So, against this fear of using the cryptocurrency invisibility to sponsor terrorism, as if to say Nigeria has the mechanism to trace terrorist funding, okay? That is the argument. Another argument is that cryptocurrency is unpredictable. Before now, that people are making a lot of money from it, a lot of gains. It is like a stock that is not regulated. You can see it today, for example, for $15. So you will need to withdraw your naira, go and exchange your naira for dollar, deposit that dollar into your domiciliary account. Okay, so then you can go ahead and buy that cryptocurrency. Let's say $15, right? And you decide to buy a lot. You will withdraw your naira. Okay, and that will automatically weaken the naira. That is the argument. Okay, and if you now invest in it and it crashes, right, that means your naira you took away from the economy and they invested in dollar, which will automatically increase naira to dollar exchange due to that act. More people are withdrawing their nairas now. Okay, they are investing in this cryptocurrency because it is so profitable, but it is unregulated back then. The reason why more people are withdrawing their money and investing in it is that because Nigeria economy has collapsed to the point that the level of borrowing, the debt against the per capita income in Nigeria has reduced the power, the value of naira. I'm sorry if I'm just speaking like something that is being mixed up. Just follow me, okay? So what happened is that we all know that naira has collapsed. And it is not because people are withdrawing their naira to go and buy cryptocurrency to save dollars. It is not because of that. That is just a recent thing. Nigerian naira collapsed because Nigerian government continued to borrow money to fund their budget, which is mostly the luxury of what they expend their money on every year. They budget money that they don't have. Then they go borrowing. The borrowers will give them conditions. If you want us to borrow you this amount of money, we cannot exchange our currency with yours at this amount. We want you to devalue it. So over time, for the past 6 years, Buhari's government under Emefiele, they have devalued naira beyond repair. That as we speak right now, $1 to a naira, right, is between 460 and 480 naira to $1. Okay, a naira to a pound, right? Because of this borrowing, you know, the valuation of naira, a naira to a pound has jumped from 230 naira in 2015, jumped to 645 naira to a pound. Now, what that simply means is because Nigeria continue to borrow more, and they are not earning enough from forex. CBN is running out of dollars. No more oil sale. They are not making much from oil anymore. Okay, so they are relying more on the borrowing and printing more of naira. So allowing people who also see through the economic ruin decided to keep their remaining naira before it become worthless. Decided to start withdrawing that. Okay, investing in crypto coins that is according to CBN back then was unregulated. What if the cryptocurrency crash? That means Nigeria that is in recession right now will go into God knows what. I don't have an idea, okay? So that's their argument, right? However, a body came out, which is also a body linked to the CBN, to allay the fear of all investors, because more bigger corporations are now going and investing hugely into cryptocurrencies all over the world. So between 2020, half of 2020 to the end of 2020, Nigerians who took out their money, they invested over $105 million. Now, they put all the totally since 2017 to 2020, the total investment of Nigerians into cryptocurrencies. Do you get that now? People who withdrew their naira because they knew the naira would become more worthless. Government continued to borrow, and therefore, they will continue to devalue naira. Before you know it, a pound will be 1,000 naira to 1 pound. What does that tell you? It means that whatever you have as millions in your bank right now as naira, except to invest in either stock, either you invest in stock or you invest in cryptocurrency, whatever comes to your way to save your own little money and don't become poor in another 1 year, right? Whatever that is, only started between 2017 and 2020. Nigerians have invested over $500 million. Now, compare $500 million invested by mostly young Nigerians who wanted to save themselves from the economic ruin. So when Babati emailed me, Babati wanted me to lay emphasis on this. They are not, completely a disproved argument. Yes, they were established arguments that if CBN cannot control this whole thing, therefore your money that you are taking there, which is going to be taken out of Nigeria economy, invest there, can just go into blazes. And when that happens, all of you who took your money will eventually have to suffer the loss. There won't be anyone to make up for that for you. But if you make more money, it's a good thing. However, you are also going to continue to deny the CBN the opportunity of having more dollars, because many people are sourcing for these dollars, not through CBN. They are sourcing for it through the black market. So overall, the CBN of Nigeria felt left out. However, this body that came out to say, with the bigger corporations all over the world, American corporations and individuals have invested over 1.7 billion in this, because now there are bodies who are now monitoring the operation of cryptocurrency. They are reporting that same way they are reporting stock. The reason why Nigerians are not choosing Nigerian stock to invest their money in is because the economic policy of this government, as much as you can try to defend it, they continue to campaign on ease of doing business in Nigeria, right? Which means they will give you tax rebates, they will give you some support and other things that they will give you for you to bring your money and invest in Nigeria. The same country is where once you get in, you have to deal with local politicians who are regular contractors to government, like in Lagos, where young people raised over $5 million in the in the stock market publicly in order to invest in car hailing, Okada hailing businesses, whereby if you have to ride any Okada, you will get to know your rider. You will get to, your safety is considered, okay? And if you lose any of your properties during the transit, yeah, you will be able to trace back which taxi you took and order. Car hailing, you know the Gokada now, Abi? You remember Gokada in Lagos? The government said, bring your money. We will let you invest, and it is easier to do business in Nigeria. Young people raised $5 million. They invested in Nigeria, in Lagos State. They started all their businesses, bought all the Okadas, did all of that. Government signed all the agreements with them. After 1 year, after election, the government, with a single letter, decided that we ban it. So their $5 million investment gone. People who got employment through them lost their jobs. Okay, that is the economic. That is the economy that we call Buharinomic. Buharinomic is where they will tell you, come, we have policy that will help you grow your business. Come and invest in Nigeria. So on record, in the past 6 years alone, Nigeria have lost more foreign direct investment than ever. In fact, they have lost over 300% in foreign direct investment because those who came got frustrated by either double taxation, by either corruption of asking them for bribery, and then at the end of the day, by a singular, never thought out policy that we can kick them out of business with a flip of a finger. Do you get that now? Gokada, $5 million investment, gone. All those who bought into, invested in them to go into that business, they all lost their investment. I can count on and on and on and on like that. So young Nigerians taking out their money to go and invest in stock to save Nigeria, they don't have trust in the stock market, because even the stock market, people don't trust the statistics being released every now and then because they don't match. You are supposed to be richer if your stock market is doing well. But because your naira is devalued beyond repair, no matter what you make from the stock market, you are going to lose about 400% of that. Yes, 400% of whatever you are going to gain. And what does that leave you? It leaves you poorer. And that is Buharinomics. Okay? So, the fear of people should invest in Nigeria is a choice. Investing in anything is a choice. Meanwhile, the CBN came out and they said, we did not ban cryptocurrency. Do you get that now? Because it's true. Normally, something you can't really regulate. And a body that came out and said the regulation, they are now pretty much, they understand, in fact, they understood the operation, and they have set up regulation on how to manage and run cryptocurrency in Nigeria. And CBN kept quiet after that, okay, until now. And here is the wonder. I decided to go into that detail for you to know that I may not know everything, but in my own layman understanding, I can make an explanation based on what I know, information I have, break it down based on my own intelligence and understanding, which is not going to be really superb. But there are people like you who understand what I'm trying to say here. The fear about investing in cryptocurrency is not unfounded, okay? People raise those fears, but those fears were about 3-4 years ago. A lot of changes have taken place, right? And all other countries have now allowed investment in this, whereby once you follow this, all approved traders in Nigeria, that's what they have done. And more people have seen the opportunity, ready to take the risk, and they have been investing. So now CBN came out and said, we know we can't stop you from trading, but you can no longer withdraw your what do you call it, your profit or anything you make from your investment in cryptocurrency through Nigerian banks anymore. Now, all Nigerian banks who have opened accounts for you to be able to deposit your dollars, where you can then go ahead and trade in all those coins with whatever money you have, yeah? They are now asking all the banks to shut down all those accounts. Now, this is what that simply means, okay? And why they are doing it. The reason why they are doing it is that they have done so well. They are still struggling with it most of the time, right? See, Bitcoin is 40K today. Those who invested in that 2 years ago, they are probably rolling in a lot of profits now. Now, those people who are in Nigeria, who saw through that 2 years or 3 years ago, and they are going to be making more now. Some of them would likely want to take out, trade their own profit, sell part of their own coins, make profit from it, withdraw the money through Nigeria, and probably go into something else they can invest in Nigeria. Yeah. So they won't be able to do that anymore. That is what the order of the CBN has done. So those who are doing this legitimately, other businesses who are investing in stock, there are those who still invest in Nigerian stocks. They are also divesting their stock, somehow selling some off and investing in Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies, okay? There is a body in Nigeria that is now in charge of regulating the cryptocurrency trading in Nigeria. Yes, government may tell you, hey, we don't regulate it. It's because if you believe them, you should believe everything they tell you then. You can't trust them. And here is our own suspicion, okay? We know this is going to affect all the genuine traders, people who are not interested in APC, PDP, and they want Nigeria, through Nigeria, or anything at all. They just want to live. They just want to do legitimate things, right? And take care of themselves, take care of their families, and stay alive. Now, these people are going to be affected. And this doesn't mean that whether you are a Yoruba, Hausa, Igbo, Christian, Muslim, young, old, male, female, whatever, right? If you are one of those who are smart enough, who are those who love investing in stock, and there are many young people, old people, politicians too. Now, this singular action will affect everybody. In case if you are saying, hallelujah, yes, government mean well, fine. Everybody will be affected. You can continue to trade in your Bitcoin. Nobody will stop you. Now, you will need, I don't know how you're going to do that. I don't know what device they're going to develop or if they are going to reverse this decision, okay? Because to trade, you will need an account, right? Maybe you have the opportunity of opening an international account, bank account, where you can also, deposit your fund for your trading. Then whenever it is time for you to trade your Bitcoin, cash it out, you will need to have somebody from outside Nigeria who can take that for you on trust and pay you the money probably in dollars, in pounds. You collect that in Nigeria, your CBN will have dollar then because they will want you to take that dollar through bank. That's another arrangement that they have put in place. You can no longer send, for example, send their dollars and people will collect the naira in Nigeria. They have limited that to some extent. People are already, witnessing that. So if you send dollar to Nigeria right now, the people will have to go and collect it in the bank. Only few people and few links you manage to still be able to send money to Nigeria, and the people will get the naira in their bank. So doing that, according to the CBN in Nigeria, is denying them to have access to dollars, because the petrol in Nigeria, the oil that is making them kill everybody, the oil is no longer valuable. Okay, nobody is buying that. They are no longer making anything from it. The foreign reserve that they bragged that they took from $30 billion to $45 billion. Their foreign reserve is now under $30 billion. They have borrowed over $100 billion as we speak against the naira, and they are going to borrow more this year. Just yesterday, the World Bank just approved another $500 million loan to Nigeria. So you will wake up before the end of probably before the end of the first quarter, end of March, and you will realize that a pound is now 700 naira to a pound. A dollar is now probably 600 naira to a dollar, because they will continue to borrow and they will continue to also print money. Inflation will continue to go up, food inflation and all of that. Okay, so this is what they have done in 6 years of Buharinomics, right? But that is not all. Okay, you will find your way. They're just going to make it harder for you, tougher for you, and you're probably going to have to share your profit for those of you who will still have to go ahead. Okay, that is my own understanding about that. But it is more than that. They have the capacity. When they were shutting down the bank accounts of all the NSAS supporters, promoters, those who are in Nigeria, and even those who are not in Nigeria, but they have bank accounts in Nigeria, right? CBN realized that within 2 weeks, young people came together, protesting, telling the government about their displeasure, police brutality, NSAS brutality, prosecute policemen that have killed people, and they have gone unpunished, right? We want you to prosecute them. We want you to give a better life to the policemen in Nigeria so that they will reduce corruption and they will be able to do their job. Their family members can have a good life too. These were the demand of the young people from the government of, and they were peaceful about it, very peaceful. For the first 14 days, right, the young people came together. They became their own government. They raised funds. They organized and volunteered. Those who were medical practitioners among them, they volunteered to attend to those what we call the first responders. They volunteered to be first responders for those who are going to be victims of violent attack of the police, who were busy shooting, killing, brutalizing the protesters. Despite all of that, the young people did not resort into violence. They were organized. They were peaceful. All these are on record, right? But they were so organized that all over the world, young people, old people were contributing. Those who could not be there physically, they were sending in their contribution, penny, dollar, pence, here, there, hand, now, and all over. And before you know it, these people were able to raise funds that took care of logistics. For example, within 2 weeks, these young people, right, they actually organized where young people in Nigeria, protesters, they could phone an emergency number. If anyone has been attacked or is bleeding, they were able to share information about location, all things that helped them. They also provided security for the protesters against the thugs sponsored by politicians and government and Nigerian police. All these are on record. So they were not violent, but they were able to raise a large amount of money. There was so much support for them. But something stood out, okay? All the accounts that people were raising money into, only one was in Nigeria that was indeed for the raising fund to support, buy logistics, buy medical supply, to take care of those who were shot, those who were killed. Man, these guys were even raising money to the point that they were paying millions of naira to the families of the young people killed during NSAS protest. That was how good it was, right? You could phone in the emergency. You could phone in, right? They were feeding people every day, right? For 2 weeks, no violence, everything coordinated, no problem, until the government felt like, wow, how could they do that? Then they realized that only one company, which was the company that opened an online fundraising platform for the NSAS protesters, and they were receiving Naira's donation only. Other platforms that were raising money for the protest in Nigeria, they were not domiciled in Nigeria, even though they were also online platforms. The bank account also that they were using, which is for the, I forgot the name of this company. Then, so the Nigerian government, they have control over it. Okay, they could shut that down, and they did. Then they couldn't shut down the rest, like those ones stationed outside Nigeria. Then there's one that stood out. It was when Jack, the owner of Twitter, tweeted that people should donate into a Bitcoin account for the NSAS protest. And he also helped symbolized the hashtag NSAS protest, NSAS now on Twitter. And like magic, people raised millions of what do you call it, a Bitcoin within days for NSAS protest. That was a huge money, right? So when the government brought violence and attacked the protesters, right, and they decided to call off the protest and say, we are stopping all donation, and we also want to call off the protest for now because it has turned to violence. Government is sponsoring thugs, which we have evidence for. Okay? Government sponsoring thugs to attack us. People are now being killed and attacked. We want everybody to leave the street. We have stopped all donation. Do you know the final accounts made by the organizers? They declared millions of naira left after they decided to pay the families of the victims of NSAS, pay the hospital bills of those who are in the hospitals, right? After receiving first aid treatment during the protest. They also said the remaining money will go into different charity organizations who helped them during the protest to continue to help all the victims that they couldn't come up with by the time they closed the account. That was an accountability. Man, this was like everybody was so proud of them. Okay? This didn't go well with the Nigerian government. Because according to them, if they hadn't unleashed violence on them, right, the protest could have continued for months, and there would be no violence, there would be nothing. People would just stay out protesting, and there would be nothing stopping them. So that means if we allow these people to continue to have access to crypto, when they make money, they can divert that money into sponsoring protest. That's going to be a problem, because that means we have young people with so much money. And if they continue to ask us to do the right thing, when they have access to this money, and we make it so easy the way they are dealing with it right now, that's going to be a problem the way Nigeria is going right now. And that is why, that is our own suspicion. And you cannot tell us not to do that. You know why? We cannot trust this government. Whatever they tell you. Because you know what they did? After they shut down NSAS protest by violence, the next thing they did was to go ahead and those they realize as who play key roles during the NSAS protest, they just single them out. Okay? They run their profiles. Those ones with international passport, they flagged their international passport. Those of them who have a bank account in Nigeria, they flagged all their bank accounts. Okay? The companies that they use to raise the fund, that company is providing other services whereby you can have a bank account with them, right? And you don't need to face any transfer charges, all these things that their banks are charging you. You know, their banks in Nigeria is not different from a pickpocket bank, okay? When you put your money in their bank, it doesn't gain any interest, okay? It dwindles. They steal from you, these charges, that charges, text message charges, Christmas greetings charges, New Year greetings charges, all those charges, they steal from you, okay? So we have new innovators who are coming into the market, giving people another opportunities, options that you can bank, save your money, and you will not lose your savings, okay? You can transfer your money without having to get charged and reduce your balance in your bank. So many people were, they were banking with them. So it was through this innovation that the platform decided to offer the NSAS protester that, hey, you know what? Come and open bank with us. We can set up a fundraising platform for you. Protest is a legal thing. You have the legal right to protest, okay? In a democracy, it is a legal thing. But in Nigeria, under Boko Haram, protesting is illegal. But when you carry AK-47, killing people, they can sit with you and negotiate with you about what do you want. They call it peace meeting when you carry AK-47. But when you carry a flag and you are carrying a placard and you are holding a phone, you are a terrorist in Nigeria. Do you get that now? Anyone associated with you. So protesting is considered illegal in Nigeria, even though the law backs it, that it is legal for you to assemble peacefully. Do you get that now? But they have banned protest in Nigeria completely, okay? So what they did then was that all these new innovators who invested money to help the economy, help the people, help small business owners to have access to funds and help the economy that politicians are destroying with their borrowings, with their stealing and looting, with all this bogus budget they write all the time, yeah? All these small businesses are the target of all these draconian policies put together, skewed policies put together to punish those they suspect as those that shouldn't be powerful, to challenge them. Please, again, don't deny us that suspicion. We have a right to suspect them. They told us, right, that they were investigating NSAS protesters. They didn't find guns with them. They didn't find any ammunition with them. The NSAS protesters didn't kill anybody. They didn't kidnap anybody. They were demanding for the good governance, which is their right under the law. But rather than for the government to listen to them, they decide to unleash violence on them. They attacked them. They killed them. And to this day, the government is denying them. They are denying the massacre of these protesters. In their own record, that never happened, right? And even in the process, they are punishing those patriotic Nigerians, Nigerians, who thought by protesting against bad governance, government will listen to them and they will do the right thing. But government didn't listen to them. Government killed them. The government did not just kill them, the government is also persecuting them. So from October 2020 to January 2021 to this day, February 2021, they are still frozen the accounts of the NSAS volunteers, and some of them have their international passport still pretty much with the DSS. No court order gave them that. No court, and even when court said they should release all those documents, they have not honored it. Okay, and their reason is because they were investigating them for funding and sponsoring terrorism. That is NSAS. So that is on illegal as we speak. Nobody, no court is helping to change that. The Attorney General of Nigeria, who instituted and supported the CBN of Nigeria, they are not doing anything about it. To them, that is it. Take it or leave it. Now we are now reading the news that we have a very vibrant, strong Yoruba activist, Oloye Sunday Igboho, who by the grace of God, by the virtue of our own ancestors, that will never allow us to die as cowards. So far, so good. Finally, pushed somebody to come out and say, listen, you can use all your political correctness. You can do all these things and tell us that it is not that bad. You can try to blackmail us and say asking for our own safety is called, is an act of terrorism, or it's us asking for civil war, right? However, we are going to go ahead because by this Geneva Convention, we have the right, universal right, to defend ourselves against any attacks. That is our right, and that is what we are actually trying to exercise in Yoruba land. Sunday Igboho showed up. He could have chosen not to. I mean, he could have decided not to. I mean, Sunday Igboho could have continued with his own private life, pretend like others. He has money. Well, he also has connection with the politicians we are talking about. If it's about money, if it's about connection, if it's about protection, he seems to have it all. He can protect himself against any kind of attack at all. He can, right? However, can you? Our people are already under attack, which is something that should call for concern. Any negotiation that we're going to have with those who are doing that in Yoruba land, okay? And it is very clear. We are very clear that, listen, nobody is against Fulanis. If you are a Fulani man or a Fulani woman, wherever you are in any part of Yoruba land, doing your own legitimate things, people knows you. You have neighbors who knows you. You have communities where people can say, this is where you live, okay? If anything happens to you, they can easily say, oh, we saw her yesterday, we saw him yesterday. And they can tell how many of you are in that community. That's how to build a community. You are welcome. There are many, many like that. And I gave an example, okay? Dangote, I believe is a Fulani man. There are many, many other Fulanis who are doing their legitimate businesses in Yoruba land. Some of them have all the political connections, just like every other Yoruba person in Yoruba land. They are welcome. But you cannot ignore and brush aside our concern over time, where our people have been attacked, kidnapped, raped, farms being ransacked, destroyed, people being attacked on their own farms, and they have never really received any justice. They've never gotten any justice, and they are not looking like they're going to get one. Now, if we want to discuss how can we live in peace, it's very simple. You don't have to live in our forest anonymously. That is criminal. We need to know who is living in that forest. There's nothing much in asking for that. That is not asking for war. We are having our experiences. We are asking for this based on our own experience and experiences. In the increase in insecurity. Listen, even if you want one Nigeria, even if you actually love the peace that you are talking about, what stops you from identifying with the victims too, right? And even if you think they are overreacting and their demand is like overreaction, or Sunday Igboho shouldn't have said they should leave. Okay, fine. But do you agree that those who are committing these crimes should be brought to book too? And how do you bring them to book if you cannot identify those who are in that forest? You cannot continue to let people live in that forest anonymously. So that means all the crimes will be anonymous too. Now, if the government is incapacitated for whatever reason, if you want to discuss peace, then let's discuss identifying those who want to involve in peace. The communities, how are they going to live in peace? Okay, if anybody violates the peace, what will be the punishment? These are the solutions that some of you should be pushing, not pushing the propaganda of, you cannot tell Fulanis, you cannot just say all Fulanis. You are rubbing it on our faces. That is not what we are talking about. There are Fulanis in our cities. There are Fulanis who are paying rent. We know their landlord. We know their addresses. Some of us know the Hausa Fulanis in their different, what do we call it? Sabongaris. Yeah. Nobody is saying all of them should leave. If they have not committed any crime, if they commit any crime, they can easily be identified, they can easily be apprehended and possibly prosecuted, and they can be punished for their own sin or for their crime. But who is going to punish AK-47 wielding Fulani as man? Then there's this concern of, are they all Fulani from Niger Republic? Are they all Fulanis from Mali? Are they all from Fulanis from Chad? Are they actually all from, are they all Fulanis from outside Nigeria? How do you know? How would you know if we are not going to identify those who are living in that forest? How do you identify those who live in the forest? You allocate it to them. How do you allocate it to them? They have to do it legitimately. You want land, then lease the land, keep your cows. If the vegetation in the southern part of Nigeria is the reason why they are there, and it is not because of the land grab, as they have been proven so far, which has raised our suspicion, and you cannot blame us for it. I'm talking to you, whether you are a Yoruba man, a Hausa man, a Fulani man. Stop making this look like people are doing this because they want bloodbath, they want war. There is already war, and people are going to react to that. Sunday Igboho that came out is a product of the negligence and the abandonment of those responsible who should do the right thing. And they have proved so far that they are incapacitated to do the right thing. What is the right thing? Who are those living in that forest? How many are they? Can we identify them? What and what area, which area are we going to find them? And whenever crimes are committed in this part of these areas, who are those to be held responsible? Okay? How do the people who are going to be affected by all these criminalities, right? How are they going to be protected and compensated whenever the need arises? These are the things that should be on the table. You don't blackmail us and tell us that we are overreacting. We are just trying to cause war. What are you trying to save? It is a graveyard piece. And instead of Nigeria to look into this, instead of some of you who want to be politically correct, instead of you to look into this, you will rather just ignore all of this and look into what appeals to your own sentiment. I am trying to be as neutral and as educative as I can on this broadcast because of the numbers of people watching and the numbers of people that will see this video. It should let you broaden your understanding of the whole problem. Is it today that we are having Fulani herdsmen in the forest of Yoruba land? Of course not. But before now, over time, we have been able to identify those ones in those areas. Yes, communities with record, with eyewitnesses account, yeah, we have it on record that over time, before 2015, yeah, people were able, communities, leaders, obas, bales, they have been able to identify those living next to them on their land, living in the forest back then. Even though not that they are agreed 100% with them staying in that forest, okay? But they were able to identify them. But in the last 5 years, these communities said the numbers of these Fulanis have increased. And these increased numbers has also increased the numbers of crimes, strange crimes. Before now, people were dealing with clashes with others whose cows grazed into people's farms. So it's not always like a violent clashes. Most of the time, communities will come together, reach a resolution, and at the end of the day, the others will pay compensation to the farmers, okay? There was no AK-47 involved. There was no killing, all of that, yeah? Then if farmers, during clashes, if they killed cows, yeah, the communities agreed that the farmer will pay compensation to the herdsman. There was no AK-47 back then. But from 2015, everything changed. Ordinary Fulani herdsman will now carry AK-47 walking about, and they no longer care what a farmer feels if they graze on their farms. That is just a fraction of the problem. Another part of the problem is that there are now increased crime of kidnappings for ransom, raping of women, and all of that. And people are beginning to feel concerned whenever they try to question, what is this? Approach these Fulani communities in their areas, they are met with violent resistance. When I say violent resistance, they are met with gun-wielding Fulani herdsmen. Not anymore, no longer stick-wielding or cutlass-wielding Fulani herdsmen. They are now holding guns. So there was no time for any amicable resolution anymore. the audacity increased. Now, they can now go ahead, destroy your farms, and dare you to do your worst. That is on record. And nobody has been able to help them in the past 5 years. Okay? The government is incapacitated. They are unable to help for political exigencies, right? The police and the military, they are now culpable. They are now on the side of these armed Fulani men. There is also an allegation of most of the cows are not from Niger. They are not from Kebbi. They are not from Niger or anywhere. Most of them are bought and owned by Yoruba politicians, traditional rulers, religious leaders, so many other groups, individuals, private individuals who buy all these cows, and they will then hire a Fulani man, right, and buy him a gun and tell him to help them, continue to breed and raise the cows. Okay, so in this regard, they don't know where the Fulani will move the cow to, or wherever he's going to move the cow to. However, this Fulani man with his gun will be able to contact the cow owner, who happens to be a Yoruba man. I have heard that allegation, and I told you we will work on that, and we need to put names and faces behind and location behind those allegations. Okay, meaning if we are able to come up with evidence of Yoruba obas, Yoruba governors, Yoruba politicians, Yoruba private individuals who have thousands of cows that they don't have ranches for in Yoruba land, across Yoruba land, we will identify them, we will name them, we will tell you the locations of their cows, and we will call on them to please build ranches, save Yoruba land. Because, yeah, we can control those legitimate Fulani herders if indeed 90% or 80% of the cows are owned by Yorubas. Okay, we can say the Fulani herders who are grazing on people's farms is because their cow owners, politicians, refused to build ranches. We can say that, and we can take them on it. Once we identify those politicians, fine. What are we going to do about those Fulani terrorists with AK-47, always on the bike, who are always attacking travelers on the motorway, on the expressway? What are we going to do about them? What are we going to do about those ones who will kidnap people, march them into the forest, demand for ransom? Okay, what are we going to do about them? I have a solution. It is by all of us agreeing that the owners of cows in Yoruba land, they should take care of their cows, or their cows will become victims of all these flushing out both criminals and AK-47 wielding, AK-47 gun wielding others in Yoruba land. That will affect them. It will affect them economically. So let me rephrase. We will appeal by the time we are able to identify, if true, that majority of the cows are owned by the politicians, by the obas, by the private individuals in Yoruba land, who buy guns for the Fulani herders managing their cows, but they refused to build ranches for them. Once we find their names and the locations, we will make that public. And in fact, I am appealing to all of you. Some of you are watching me. You have beautiful platforms. You have great platforms. You are doing wonderfully well, doing your own investigative journalism work. I am appealing to you. I have given you a lead now. You can help us. Part of the solution to curb any bloodbath, any blood shed, is that there must be a mechanism to identify the criminals from the non-criminals. I am saying this just to let you know that the intention of flushing out criminals from Yoruba land is not targeted at any Fulani, any private Fulani doing his own legitimate business in Yoruba land. We have criminal Fulanis in our forest that the government of Nigeria themselves claimed are foreigners. How do we identify them? It is by identifying those ones carrying AK-47, trespassing on people's farms. Deal with them and let the owners of their cows take care of them, or people will take care of them for them, okay? Then by so doing, then we'll be left with those who are walking about or carrying AK-47, riding Okada in our forest, kidnapping our people on the motorways, kidnapping our people from their homes, robbing our people in their homes and all of that in Yoruba land. As Amotekun goes after them, we will also use our own private, citizenship right to fish them out. So this is a message to the politicians. If you are one of those, if you are one of the owners of the cows in Yoruba land, and you are pretending, you're allowing us to continue to shout and scream, Fulani has men. Meanwhile, you are the owners of the 80% of the cows. We are calling on you now. Begin to think about how to go and buy or rent the land in those forests in your state, and begin to plan on how to put all those cows on the farm, on your own ranches, or else the people will flush them out the moment they flush out the kidnappers, the criminals. And I don't think you should disagree with that. If you are genuinely, or if you are not deliberately pushing the agenda of Fulani versus Yoruba, government versus this, which is what the federal government of Boko Haram, which is what they are doing. According to them, Fulani herdsmen, they have every right to be anywhere, and they have every right to carry gun anywhere they want. And you have no right to do anything. And if you decide to do anything, we will come for you. That means you are attacking the government of Nigeria. Every attack on Fulani is attack on the government of Nigeria. Therefore, every attack on Fulani we lead to a response from the government of Nigeria. The way they always do it is to use first. They will use economic sanction. Their own way of using economic sanction is that they will freeze the account of anyone identified with that campaign. Today, Oloye Sunday Igboho is our own link to help the young people in Yoruba land who want to stand up and defend the land, their own land, against the invasion of the criminals. We don't know what they really want. They said they wanted to graze on their cows. We said, fine, you are welcome to graze on the cow if you want, but you will need to do it legitimately. Meanwhile, some people are saying, even legitimately or not, they don't even want them anymore. Fine. Let's say that is because of the heat of the moment, okay? If they want to do it legitimately, let them register legitimately. We want to know where they are. And if any crime is committed around their farms, we can know who to question and we can know who to arrest. They themselves will be able to identify the foreigners among them kidnapping our people. Do you get that now? So they are going to use economic sanction. Same thing they did to the NSAS protesters. And that should not shock you. And if they say, no, that's not the intention, please don't believe them. Don't believe anything they say, because nothing they say is ever true. They may tell you, don't worry, forget it. But by the time you will read the breaking news, you just look back and say, Maiyegun said it all. Don't always make it look like there's this special gift that I'm actually using to tell you things that can happen. What I'm doing on Maiyegun's diary most of the time is to tell you that when you read breaking news, right, think deeper. Even if the breaking news says it is in the interest of Nigeria, you need to open your eyes, look deeper. You will realize the hidden intention behind that announcement. Do you get that now? So the hidden intention behind that announcement may not completely be because of what they are saying, and they don't care whoever this is going to affect economically or whatever, your business, they don't care. Using this cryptocurrency stuff and what they have done to the NSAS protesters, Oloye Sunday Igboho is a private citizen. He has his own private businesses, okay? Which means that he transacts in his own private businesses. They are going to freeze his account. And the news we have is that they will do it on Monday to stifle him, okay? And they are going to also target everyone identified with him openly or identified with any Yoruba struggle. You know why they are not going to use force the first time? Is because when they use force right now, they have found something that even though many Yorubas are not speaking up, okay, against the Fulani atrocities in Yoruba land, they can read their body languages. That most Yorubas or most Yoruba politicians or political leaders or traditional leaders, they tend to be in agreement with the eviction notice that is circulating in Yoruba land. So this Miyetiala and federal government, they realize that it seems that the Yorubas, even if some of their leaders are not coming out to talk, their silence can tell us that some of them seems to be in agreement with it, even though they have not come out to condemn it or to support it. So if we go ahead and those who have come out to support Sunday Igboho, they have come out so bold that it is obvious that they are not speaking alone, okay? They seems to be speaking on behalf of many who are not saying anything. So if we go ahead and attack Sunday Igboho violently, it is going to send a completely wrong signal, and it can actually make all Yorubas, those who don't even agree with Sunday Igboho right now, who don't agree with the Oduduwa Republic right now, that may automatically make them see that, oh, so you want to attack us? You are not going to attack, you are sending soldiers to go and kill Sunday Igboho, Abi, for asking Fulani kidnappers to leave Yoruba land, Abi. Even if Sunday Igboho says Fulani terrorists should leave, what is wrong in that? Even though those people who are watching me now, they agree that what Sunday Igboho did is not wrong. They don't agree with him 100%. Okay? So, but with the way it is, if the federal government of Buhari, if they try the same thing they did to the IPOB members with Sunday Igboho right now, there's possibility that more people are going to side with more Yorubas are going to support Sunday Igboho, and that is not good. It will completely ruin all the political alliance, the fake political alliance they claim Yoruba as with the Hausa Fulani. It will completely ruin it. So they don't want to go through that. So what they will do is that they will now target certain people, individuals, who they believe are key players or key actors in any campaign that geared Yorubas towards defending Yoruba land. Does that make any sense to you? It may be difficult for those who are not used to watching Maiyegun's diary. If you have been watching me from the beginning, right, you understand how I arrived at this. Do you get that now? And if you are just joining me, don't worry, okay? Continue watching. You are likely going to grab the whole thing towards the end of the broadcast, yeah? Or you can actually watch again after a few minutes when this broadcast ends, okay? And it will make sense to you. So they may have announced, oh, you cannot withdraw your cryptocurrency investment in Nigeria Bank, yeah? We Yorubas who have decided to raise funds to support the good causes in Yoruba land, we are not raising money to buy guns, by the way. Our own young people in Yoruba land, they have access to that. And I'm not going to elaborate on it. We are not raising money to buy guns. We are raising money to help our young people who are volunteers to be able to help the Amotekun who will be combing our forest in Yoruba land. So we want to support them because they have finally found the reason why they needed to stand up without waiting for the government anymore. Because, see, listen, the reason why I said you should not believe the government is this, okay? The government is supposed to protect the people. But over time, since this whole thing started, the government hasn't protected the people in Yoruba land, okay? In Egua, in Yewa North local government area of Ogun State, right? When the people of Igongon, when they are trying to regain their freedom from those Fulani Agbenipa, the Fulani kidnappers that were running rampage in their region, when they were dealing with that, the people of Egua in Yewa North local government area of Ogun State, they were being whipped by Nigerian soldiers. You know why? Nigerian soldiers led the Fulani herdsmen who reported the villagers, the farmers, to the Nigerian army that see this village, they won't allow us to graze on their farms. And there's two ways to that, okay? We have it on record that some of the cows you see in Yoruba land, some of them are owned by retired generals, retired Nigerian army generals, okay? When they receive their pension, they invested in cow. Then they now give security, what we call immunity, to the Fulani they brought from Niger and from all these places. They will bring them in because it is cheaper to hire them from Niger Republic and allow them to keep roaming about with the cows. So if they encounter any problem, all they will need to do is to call the general. You know what I'm talking about now? They will call the general and say, oh, these villagers are not allowing us to feed the cows. So the general will just call these boys and tell them to take some boys and go to the villages. That's what happened in Nigeria now too. So that makes sense that some of these cows are owned by Yorubas. Because you see those who went there, among them were Yorubas. Their leader was a Yoruba man. the soldiers, the Nigerian army, who went back to that village to go and, because what happened is this: when the villagers refused and rejected Fulani and their cows from feeding on their farms, they fought back, they pushed them back. The Fulanis didn't fight them or kill anybody. What they did was they just put a call through to the general, possibly the owner of the cows. So the general sent the boys. Now, from village to village, they just, the Fulani herdsmen will lead. The soldiers will follow. And they are pointing at the houses of the farmers who fought them, who told them not to graze on their farms. So the soldiers will bring them out of the house, whip them, they whip them to the point that they had this, what do you call it? These bruises on their backs. Old men, they were beaten blue black. And this happened about 4 or 5 communities. So, I mean, luckily, that made it into the news. It became a breaking news. You know what happened after? Nigerians army, they returned back to the villages. They called the people they beat up and said, come here. We want you to debunk the news. We want you to tell the world that we didn't beat you up. Tell them that it's fake news. If you don't rebuff the news, if you continue to stay without your news that we beat you up, this is what will happen to you. You see these Fulani herdsmen, when next they come to your farm, they are not going to call us to come and to come and look into it, okay? They are going to fight you, and when they start killing you, we know you are going to call us to come and defend you, okay? We will not come back. So you have the option now. Tell the world that we didn't beat you up because you rejected Fulani herdsmen on your farms. Tell them that it is fake news. But if you fail to tell them, okay, fine. When next Fulani herdsmen come here and kill you, don't call us to come and help you. That is on fire. That is on record. Okay, it is not a make-up story, and it happened in 2021. Okay, January 2021. That is the situation. The one on record, though, God knows what the situation is for so many other communities, like in Ondo State, in Ekiti State, in Oyo State, even in Osun State. All these areas, all these small communities are going through hell, but they have nobody to report to. Every time they try to raise alarm, they will tell them to shut up and don't cause civil war, don't cause tribal war, just shut up. Until now, nobody was telling their stories. Now that people are telling their stories, and they now have young people who believe that it is wrong. If our government will not help us, now they cannot report to police, they cannot report to the soldiers, to the military. Nobody will come and help them. Now, if they try to defend themselves, they will send the military, they will send the soldiers, they will arrest all of them. They will call them the terrorists who are trying to cause war. Now, let me say this to you. If you are a Yoruba man listening to me, you may not understood this until this time, or do you watch my video. This may not really be this clear to you. And you think, though, people may be overreacting, like in your own word. No, they shouldn't have told them to leave. And they should have just asked them to register. We should try and stop anything that will be war. I understand your fear, but you are only responding to that fear that people should not rise up or defend themselves because you are listening to the narratives of the politicians. The narratives of the politicians is that if Yorubas push on, right? If Yorubas push on and decide to protect themselves, that will be an affront on the conquered mentality of the Fulanis in Yoruba land, because it is beyond Fulani herdsmen and their cows and farmers. Okay, people are being kidnapped. Okay, to identify the kidnappers, we need to identify those who own the cows and their herders. Do you understand that now? So without that, any offered peace is a graveyard peace. And if you think government said they are going to do something, government is not going to do anything. Politically, it is not profitable for Yoruba politicians towards 2023. According to them, if any Yoruba politicians is interested in 2023, as they always do, they must not publicly come out and support Sunday Igboho's action. By so doing, the Abuja Fulani jihadist federal government and the likes of all those Miyetiala, they will call that politician enemy of the North. And as a politician who is interested in one Nigeria, You have to keep quiet when they are killing your people, because you will need the blessing of the Miyeti Allah to become anything, whether to become a senator or to become a vice president or even a president. So politically, it is not profitable to politicians in Yoruba land to say anything. And they are also doing everything, using all different kind of platform, propaganda, to tell you that asking you to protect yourselves, asking Fulani criminals to leave our forest, is going to be a call for war. What is a call for war? Did the people that they have kidnapped so far, did they ask for war? Can you at least say it is only during war that people will kidnap you by gun and they will be demanding for ransom from your family member, and you have no right, because it is not legal to kidnap people, collect money. If you do that in any of this part of the world, you will go to life in jail. And if you commit any violent crime against them, apart from that kidnapping, you may even go on to death sentence. You will be killed. But in Nigeria, we have no law. They are not using any law to prosecute any criminal, because it is an act of terrorism to kidnap any other people, deny them their freedom, put them somewhere, torture them until you force them to buy their freedom. It is illegal. Now, if you are doing it, what do you think should be our response when the law cannot catch them? They have never been arrested or prosecuted. None of them has been jailed for having kidnapped any Yoruba man in Yoruba land. Never, anywhere. Now, when people now say, okay, we can't report to police, nobody will protect us, we're going to protect ourselves. How does that now constitute war or asking for war when the government is powerless and telling you to go and pray? Maybe it will go away someday. Like Pastor Adeboye just said. He said God told him that everything that has the beginning must have an end. One day, the terrorism in Nigeria will come to an end. But you cannot wish away terrorism. You cannot continue to agree to something that make you sign up for what is called graveyard peace. For at least let's have peace. What peace? People are still going to continue to get kidnapped. Government are still going to tell you that they are doing everything to arrest those kidnappers, and you are not going to get anything, because arresting the kidnapper means they will have to prosecute them. And prosecuting them means they have to identify them. So when you identify them, you have to tell us who they are. And eventually, when you identify them and they are Fulani or Yoruba or anywhere they come from, eventually, if they are the tribe we are talking about, yeah, that is not politically profitable. So politicians will bury it or delay it while people get killed. Why is that ideal solution? When government can easily just say, you know what, we want to know the owners of the cows. We want to know the others of the cows and where they are. And also, we want to know those who are committing crimes in our farm. We want to go after them. Everyone who can support government in Yoruba land is welcome. That's what it should be. But like I said, the government of Buhari, they are not going to attack a Sunday Igboho or any other person doing everything to help the government in Yoruba land, even though the government is not helping themselves, yeah? But let's say Amotekun Day, okay? And we can also support Amotekun from outside Nigeria, or support every young people who is standing up, volunteering to help. At least Amotekun job itself is a volunteering job, which comes with his own perks. So if you are a young person in Yoruba land who is ready to group yourselves and help your community, and you need logistics like a bus or a truck to go into the forest and patrol your forest, that is not you asking for war. But the government of Buhari, they want to make sure that they stop that opportunity. This is what will happen. When Yorubas decide to raise money, and we don't want to send the money through their banks, because you cannot even raise the money and send it through their banks anyway. With what they are doing right now, even when we raise the money independently from outside Nigeria to support our people in Yoruba land, to spread the awareness about this insecurity and what they need to do, and how much to help them to build a network of raising what is called the alarm. So any community under attack, right? For example, in Oyo State, yeah, communities under attack in Oyo State, they have a number, emergency number to call, which will be straight away to the Amotekun. Okay, so we can invest in so many of these other supportive volunteer groups, like what the Sunday Igboho, Oloye Sunday Igboho, and every other Ishokon Yoruba, Odua TV, and every other member of Yoruba liberation movement in Yoruba land, for all the moves they are making to raise awareness, to educate Yorubas, to tell them about the opportunities of standing together, protecting ourselves, and making this insecurity business everybody's business. Okay, insecurity business is everybody's business. Nobody should feel like protecting yourself is you asking for war when you're already been attacked, killed, kidnapped by criminals that cannot be identified, cannot be arrested, cannot be prosecuted, and something needs to be done. When Sunday Igboho acted, we have seen all the other reactions afterward. People are agreeing with him, and every support we give to him is going into Yoruba land, not to him, because he can take care of himself. And if the government comes for him, I'm saying this to you, if they deny it, don't take their word for it, because you can't take their word for anything. The same government in Nigeria claiming to be tracing money for terrorism, the same CBN in Nigeria has been unable, to trace the funding for Boko Haram. Instead of the government or the CBN of Nigeria to help us trace money paid as ransom, money paid for to terrorists in Nigeria. You know, Nigeria, they pay this money in dollars, pay them in naira. All this money, all these banknotes, they have serial numbers. And when Nigerian CBN realizes that they started, when people pay ransom, right? If you want to end corruption, if you want to end terrorism, and you want to end funding terrorism, it is not just when the government pay terrorists that it becomes legit. What are they trying to tell us? When the government pay millions of naira to terrorists as compensation for being rehabilitated or being repentant terrorists, what are they telling us? Are they not telling us that they are approving funding terrorism, paying terrorists who repented? Why the same crime is still being committed? People are still being killed every day. Then the government is saying they are rehabilitating, they are paying money to them. When these criminals kidnap people, the government puts money, huge amount of money together. They pay it to the terrorists, but they will never make arrest. They will never arrest any of them. All the money paid to these terrorists, they are printed by the CBN of Nigeria. The dollars paid to these terrorists, they all pass through the CBN of Nigeria. How come that the CBN and the police and all the DSS in Nigeria, they have been unable to trace all this money? Meanwhile, these terrorists continue to get this money. Now they are no longer collecting the money secretly anymore. They are coming into the open, negotiating for bigger deal. Do you get that now? Then individuals who are trying to raise money to defend themselves are now being targeted. Individuals who are raising funds to raise awareness about all these problems are now being targeted as the terrorists, right? Because they want to reduce terrorism. But the same government is paying terrorists. They are not marking all this money. America, if America pays you any ransom, they will mark the note. They want to know where you are going to spend the money. Wherever you spend the money all over the world, they can track it, they can trace it, and they will make arrest. Is that not what the CBN of Nigeria should be doing? But that is not what they are doing. That's what I'm telling you. Don't believe them. When they deny anything, it is true that it's going to happen. Well, yeah, they will make it difficult, but they are not making it impossible. We are going to continue to raise funds. We're going to continue to support our people in Nigeria, not for terrorism, but because we deserve to be safe on our own land. We are not staging any fight outside the Yoruba land. It is those who brought war to our land that we want to flush out. And as a Yoruba man, Omoluabi, that shouldn't be difficult for you to process. I mean, even if for political reasons, think about that. If there is no Yoruba people who you want to lead or become governor, become this over in your own Lala land, the 2023 Lala land, yeah? At least keep the people safe. They deserve to be safe. Whatever they have promised you, whatever that threat is from Fulani terrorists up north, let me tell you this. You will always need the people to stay relevant. If you sell them out like many of you have done already, right? The people will speak, they will defend themselves, and you, well, it's up to you if your own political career will survive what is coming. Because the Fulani terrorists who are threatening you, blackmailing you to sacrifice your people, ignore this threat, play it down for political reasons, yeah? When the whole thing comes crashing, they will sacrifice you too for their own comfort. So would you rather be with your people for whatever thing you have in mind? I mean, it's an advice, so it is not a must you take it. Guys, this is where I'm going to draw the curtains, okay? I've made few of my points. I am not the Mr. Know-it-all. Remember this, I have been saying all of this offhand. They are just things I have read, things I have digested, opinions that comes from myself, analysis that I tried, narratives that I tried to make up in order for me to push and send home, or let me say, yeah, push home my message. Now, you have all this information. None of this whole thing I've told you is new to some of you. You have been so current and following things. Your opinion on some of my views may be different. Drop them in the comment section. I'm going to read them. And if you also write me, I'm going to read your email. And when next I speak on my topic, I will always acknowledge your own observation. So don't see this as Mr. Know-it-all. Oh, you think you have all the... No, 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 no. I have told you practically what I think can be done. I mean, overall, which means that if every right of everyone should be respected without using the manipulation of law and all this illegality to hoodwink and to subvert people's will. Peaceful protest and gathering in a democracy is a right. It is not a privilege. They are not doing us anything for allowing us to gather and group and express ourselves peacefully on whatever we think is not working in our interest. As a Yoruba people, as Biafrans, and as everything you identify yourself as, you have every right to express your displeasure about how you are being governed. And this right is even enshrined in their fake 1999 constitution, but they are denying it, using all manner of illegality to manipulate people and use emotion, religion, and some other things, tribal this and that, to blackmail you into agreeing with them on policies that are not really in your own interest. So I have expressed my own view. I have shared them extensively. It is now up to you, right, to make up your own opinion on that. And whatever decision you make, I hope you'll be back again next time to join me, okay? From the update I have for you, so far so good. From the 100,000 pounds that we are trying to raise for Oloye Sunday Igboho and every young Yorubas standing up to defend Yoruba land, I am happy to tell you, when we came on this broadcast tonight, the donation on the account was at 29,400 pounds or thereabout, but now it has now jumped over to 30,634 pounds. If you are one of those who have made the contribution, 10 pounds, 5 pounds, 20 pounds, 100 pounds, 200, 500, and what have you, please, you are appreciated. Your voice is heard. And this is going to get home by all means. How we'll get all this funding and support to those who need it. Those this support are meant for. And every other platform we're still going to, eventually, we're going to be forced, right, to develop, to support this cause. It is a no going back because it is a legitimate campaign. It is not a funding for terrorism. It is a funding to stop terrorism on our land. As a Yoruba man, you should support that. And to all of you who have, dipped into your pockets and supported this, I want to say thank you to you. Wherever that comes from, you are blessed. Say amen to that. And before you go, before I round up, remember, you can give me a thumb up just before you go. Okay? Give me that thumb up. Close the chat there. Close that chat box. And then just go on there. You see the thumb up. Give me that. And then if you are not really happy with what you have watched, you can also give me thumb down. Okay? Whatever it is called engagement. You can also join my membership, which is Maiyegun General Politico membership. You can join that. All of these are volunteer. All of these are volunteer or voluntary rather. They are all voluntary add-on. I was reading a comment from somebody, a fan, possibly, because I don't expect everybody who watches my video to be in agreement with everything I say. Okay, but again, disagreeing with me doesn't really mean that you should disagree with the platform itself. Okay, if you disagree with my platform, the most you can do is just to unsubscribe. That would be really, really unfair to yourself if you do that, because you'll be missing a lot on so many information that can be useful to you too, even if you don't really agree with me politically on many other things, okay? However, when I ask my fans to subscribe on my page, it is because I want to keep them. I want them never to miss anything. If they enjoy staying on, I'm not going to collect your phone to subscribe on my page. You have to do it yourself voluntarily. If you now subscribe on my page or become a member of my page, it is also voluntary. I am Maiyegun, and I might look like just a Maiyegun to you. Or if you are watching me for the first time, who is this guy? I am more than this guy. I have amazing friends, amazing people who turn up every time I am here talking. These amazing people loves me more, so much that they go beyond just subscribing on my page. They subscribe and pay to watch me. If that is something that you think is advertising myself, well, I end it. Ending it means that I have friends who have been with me for so long, and they will do everything to support me. If this is your first time and that is new to you, well, some people made this happen. Some people pushed this platform to this level, to the point that you came across it, okay? Stay back. Nothing is forced. Everything is voluntary. It's up to you. Thank you so much to every one of you who has stayed back and continue to stay back, support Maiyegun and everything that is Maiyegun's platform. If you are watching me for the first time, I appreciate your presence and I would love to see you again, okay? Subscribe, go on there, click on it, set your notification, okay? And I will have a wonderful time with you again the next time I'm back. To every one of you, thank you so much for your time. I'll see you again when I see you. Stay safe and subscribe.
Àní ẹ̀sùnra kì í. Maiyegun ti dé. Maiyegun ti dé. Ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùnra kì í. Maiyegun ti dé. Àní ẹ̀sùnra kì í. Maiyegun ti dé. Lórí Facebook. Maiyegun ti dé. Àní ẹ̀sùnra kì í. Maiyegun ti dé. Lórí YouTube. Maiyegun ti dé. Àní ẹ̀sùnra kì í. Maiyegun ti dé. Bọ́ bàbá gbé wúrẹ́. Àní ẹ̀sùnra kì í. Maiyegun ti dé. Ijó ìgbádìyẹ. Àní ẹ̀sùnra kì í. Maiyegun ti dé. Pẹ̀sìdó bá rúfin o. Àní ẹ̀sùnra kì í. Maiyegun ti dé. Kí gómìnà kówó jẹ. Àní ẹ̀sùnra kì í. Maiyegun ti dé. Ọlọ́pàá tí ń darí bá. Àní ẹ̀sùnra kì í. Maiyegun ti dé. Aṣòfin tí ń rúfin o. Àní ẹ̀sùnra kì í. Maiyegun ti dé. Òpùrọ́ olóṣèlú. Àní ẹ̀sùnra kì í. Maiyegun ti dé. Ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùnra kì í. Maiyegun ti dé. Àní ẹ̀sùnra kì í. Maiyegun ti dé. Maiyegun ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùnra kì í. Maiyegun ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùnra kì í. Ṣùgbọ́n ní bá ti ṣe èyí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe, ọmọ bá dèrò ní fi wọ́n níran o. Maiyegun ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùnra kì í. Maiyegun ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùnra kì í. Ṣùgbọ́n ní bá ti ṣe èyí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe, ọmọ bá dèrò ní fi wọ́n níran. Wọ́n fowó bẹ́ẹ̀ o. Maiyegun ó sọ pé wọ́n ò fẹ́ bẹ́ẹ̀. Wọ́n fowó bẹ́ẹ̀. Maiyegun ó sọ pé wọ́n ò fẹ́ bẹ́ẹ̀. Oníkan ṣáàtì ṣe èyí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe fáwọn ará ìlú tó gbé wọn débẹ̀ o. Maiyegun ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùnra kì í. Maiyegun ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùnra kì í. Ṣùgbọ́n ní bá ti ṣe yìí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe ọmọ bá dẹ́rọ̀ ò ní fi wọ́n níran.
Kì máa yí ṣe eré ọ̀rọ̀ yìí kì í ṣe ẹ̀fẹ̀. Kì máa yí ṣe eré ọ̀rọ̀ yìí kì í ṣe ẹ̀fẹ̀. Ẹni bá ti lè lẹ́bọ̀ lẹ́rù o ọmọ bá dèrò kàṣà ìtú wọn síta.
Maiyegun ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ súnra kí. Maiyegun ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ súnra kí. ṣùgbọ́n ní bá ti ṣe yìí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe ọmọ bá dẹ́rọ̀ ò ní fi wọ́n níran.
tẹnitẹni ọmọ Maiyegun ọ̀rẹ́ ara ìlú mọ̀mọ́ ni mo fọlọ́run sọ ẹ̀ bá kìlẹ́bù lóòótọ́ olódodo ìlú ọ̀tá ìlú mọ̀mọ́ ni ìwọ ṣá máa ń ṣọ́ra kò sì mọ́ bẹ̀rù bọ́tà ń lè rí bóníṣègùn lé káwọn mọ̀mọ́ fi ṣera wọn ni ó ti dẹrùn tí wọn ò gbọ́dọ̀ sì mọ́ bẹ̀. èèpo ọ̀bọ lọmọ bá dérò tàjẹ́ ò gbọ́dọ̀ jẹ́ ó ti dọba lórí abínú ẹni kò sì mọ́ fòyà àìsíwọ́lu ní ẹnìkẹ́ ìgbódì ẹyin lábàrá ó kó ẹni tó bá dán wò á kàmù. Maiyegun ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ tún ra kì. Maiyegun ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ tún ra kì o. Ẹ̀yin bá ti ṣe èyí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe ọmọ bá dèrò òní fi wọ́n níran o.
Maiyegun ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ tún ra kì.